Boy, have I got a great story to share with you. I'm so glad you clicked on this piece. This piece is called Ready for Trouble. Now, this piece is historical in nature, of course, but it revolves around the founding of Fort Bowie. Now, Fort Bowie is southeast of Willcox, Arizona. In fact, you can go visit the ruins of it today. And it's a really interesting story. It's an interesting little bit of history. These guys, now these were dragoons. These were the precursors, these soldiers, to what were to become the cavalry. Now, Fort Bowie was founded in 1862. This particular event was one of many that took place. Now, this happened in 1857. There were a series of these events, though, where these dragoons had to travel for 60 miles from Fort Buchanan, which was 60 miles to the west, and they were patrolling a lot of southern Arizona. Well, during this period of time, Cochise was raiding a lot, and the United States was looking for a southern path to go for a mail route and for an immigrant route to get to California. And these dragoons were patrolling this massive area. Well, Cochise attacked at one point. There was one small pocket of water there right by Fort Bowie. In fact, if you go visit Bowie, you'll go right by something called Apache Springs. It was a reliable water source. And the Indians, the Apaches, as well as the soldiers and the travelers all used this water source. Well, Cochise, of course, he would raid and all of that around there. Well, the soldiers at Fort Buchanan heard that there had been an attack, and they traveled 60 miles into this area. It's Apache Pass and Apache Springs, and they traveled that 60 miles into this valley, and boy, Wendy and I have gone there and looked at it, and it's all of these hills all around you, and there's this valley there, and you can just see when you're there, you can just see those Apaches up there, you know, and just what could have happened. Well, these troopers now, they came in, and they found what was left of these burning wagons. Cochise had attacked an immigrant train, burned the wagons, and all of this had taken place there. And these soldiers heard about it and had to go investigate it. So this trooper now, he's a dragoon. Now you can tell that by several things. You'll notice his shoulder brand here. It says 1st Dragoons. This is D Troop. That happened to be the company of soldiers that was at Fort Buchanan. So he's branded that way. You can see here, there's the U.S. brand on his shoulder as well. Now, all of his gear here is from that dragoon period, the mid to late 1850s. He's got 2 pistol bags here. This is called a musketoon. It was an 1842 musketoon. A lot of the guys carried those. You can see here, this was a little valise that they carried, and it carried some spare clothing in that. This is a Grimsley saddle. As you come around the piece, you've got his canteen there. You've got his bedroll up here. On the breast collar, this is an S shank bit. It was a precursor to the shoemaker, which you'll see later on in the cavalry period, during the Indian Wars period. That's one of the precursors there. You can see the rain coming down there. Now, he's got his saber here. Later on, during the Indian Wars period, they didn't carry sabers because they found they were useless. And so the dragoons did. So he's got the saber, and you can see it lashed on here. This is one of the old dragoon Colts right here. And you can see this trooper, and he's just gotten into this valley, and he's looking up into those hills, and he's pulled his old Colt out, you know. And he's looking up there, he's pulling his horse up, and right down here, I put in, you can see a bit of the wagon wheel, and then just some smoke coming up, because this is after this wagon train had been burned, and all of these events had taken place. And this sergeant's pulled into this valley, and he's looking around to see if Cochise is still there, because he doesn't know, and the rest of his troopers are starting to spread out, and he's just pulled up into that. So we call it Ready for Trouble, because this guy's just rode into a real precarious place, and he's looking around, and he's ready for anything that's coming down the pike. Hey, thanks for clicking on this piece. I'm so excited to get to tell you about it.